Welcome to the City of Miami Commission meeting, special meeting to address the vacancy that we now have for District 1. At this time, I don't have a pastor here, and you know I start every meeting with prayer. Do I have a pastor in the audience, maybe? Nada. Okay, so I'll say a quick prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. We are honored to be your humble servants. I ask that you guide us today in this meeting, that we do your work, that we continue to serve with your guidance. Amen.
Amen.
Commissioner Carollo, could you say the Pledge of Allegiance for us, please? Of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also joining us, he's not here in chambers, but he is here via Zoom, is our Commissioner Reyes. Hi, Commissioner Reyes.
Hi, how are you doing? I'm sorry I can't be there, but by doctor's order, I have to be taking it easy.
Are you feeling better?
Huh?
Are you feeling better?
Yes, sir.
Good,
Yes, sir.
good.
I mean, much better than a couple
Glad
of
to
days
hear
ago.
that. And thank you for
Yeah.
not putting any Gator memorabilia behind you today.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know what happened and why do you hate the Gators? Because, I mean, we never play Miami.
Well, you never know. You never know. They're,
Well,
they're two
even
pretty
if
good
we
teams.
play it and we are in different conferences.
Yeah, but
So
You know, there are two kind of fans, Joe.
Orange
The
Bowl.
one that are Gators, the one that wish were Gators.
The Orange Bowl game this year might be the Gators against Miami.
It could be. That would be a hell of a game. Would be a hell of a game. Yeah, I thought about that too, Joe. I thought about that too.
So
Well, it's good to have you.
Thank you. It's nice to be with you. I had to be with you guys.
thank you. At this time, Mr. City Attorney, do you have a statement to read into the record?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. George Wessling, Assistant City Attorney. Detailed information about the processes, order of business, rules of procedure, and scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code, a copy of which is available online at www.municode.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the City Clerk and comply with related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the City Clerk's office or online at www.municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of the City Code section is available in the office of the City Clerk or online at www.municode.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose before the hearing any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any documents offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. In accordance with Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and the material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at www.miamigov.com. Any person may be heard by the City Commission through the chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission unless modified by the chair. Public comment will begin at approximately 6:30 p.m. and remain open until public comment is closed by the chairperson. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meetings instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comment using the online public comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been and will be distributed to the elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials may consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to the elected officials, their staff, and the city administration up until the chairperson closes public comment. Public comment may also be provided here live at City Hall, located at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to all and any city rules as they may be amended. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the City Clerk. The City has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public support, opposition, or neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.0114, parentheses 4, parentheses C, Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by staff in the City Attorney's Office on the items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of an item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, miamigov.com TV, the city's Facebook page, facebook.com/City of Miami Gov, the city's Twitter page, twitter.com, the city's YouTube channel, and Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. City Clerk, do you have a statement that you need to read?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So at this time, we will entertain public comment on the District 1 vacancy. Anybody who wishes to speak regarding the District 1 vacancy, please step up to the podiums.
Madam Chair, good evening. Horacio Aguirre, resident of Miami, 1910 Northwest 13th Street. City Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity. I have offered my name to Commissioner Manolo Reyes as a candidate for interim City Commissioner for District 1, and I have promised not to run in the regular election. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Danielle Rivera. I live at 2300 Southwest 3rd Ave, Miami, Florida, 33129. I am here to implore you guys not to appoint someone. Simple fact is, I do not trust you. Most of the citizens in Miami do not trust you. I am a campaign finance reform advocate. I have seen every single one of your treasurer's reports. And while I'm not going to allege anything illegal, I can certainly guarantee each and every one of you have used every loophole in your disposal to gather large donations from special interests, developers, transit contractors. Your paratransit contractor is not required to bid on their contract, nor are they required to allow handicap access on the Miami Trolley, which is why I started looking. We do not trust you. Alex Diaz de la Portilla may have done something illegal, but all of you have certainly done something amoral and ademocratic. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, Vice Chair Carollo, Commissioners Covo and Reyes. Ariel Trueba, 301 Northwest 47th Avenue. Thank you for taking the time off your weekend to come make an important decision for the residents of District 1 and the City of Miami in general. I am here as a proud City of Miami resident who currently feels that I don't have anyone representing my district in the city. As elected officials, I trust you all to make the best decision for the interests of all of our city residents. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Christy Tasker, and I'm running for District 2 Commission against Ms. Covo. And the reports from my office on social media, sadly, the commission is not trusted at all. I know, Christine King, you're friends with Alex Diaz de la Portilla. Sabina Covo has had Alex Diaz de la Portilla people help fund her campaign. And
Look, this is not
No,
a
this is-
political speech.
this is the
Okay?
truth.
If you
but
want to
this is the
speak
truth.
on District 1, ma'am, speak on District 1. If you want to have your 15 seconds of fame as a candidate, you could go out there and have it. But not here. This is for District 1. Madam Chair,
Mr. Carollo.
I don't care what is said against us, but when they come up here to use this podium today for political speech, that's a different story. And this is not appropriate.
Mr. Carollo, we're
whatsoever.
talking about
No.
a politician.
Oh, sir. I am going to, Commissioner Carollo, I'm going to allow the 2 minutes to go. It is to address the vacancy of D1. She did say something vaguely about the D1 vacancy. So continue, just.
So I'm saying that why people don't trust you all to select the D1 vacancy if there were, if there were an appointment, it's not a trusted appointment because you all have the same campaign finance adjusters when it comes to your campaign finance reports. So that's something that the public doesn't know. Sadly, that's the case. So it really looks like all of you are working together behind the scenes. Whether you are or not, I do not know. All I know is that the public is not in very much of trust of the entire commission as a whole. And I would like you guys to just hold his office until the next election so that the public can actually decide who their next politician is. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, Commissioners. Gabriel Baez, 1255 Northwest 35th Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33125. Once again, good evening. I come here to ask that you appoint a replacement because it's important that we ensure the continued functioning of this body and government. Appointing someone that will maintain the representation of this district is important because we haven't really had anybody for the past couple years. I implore you and I encourage all of you to vote in appointing someone who will lead by example and have the best interest, even if it's only for 45 days or less. That person will probably do much more than has been done in the past couple of years. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hello. My name is Barbara Casanova. I'm chairman of Citizens First. And I'm here to speak for my supporters to ask that you do not put someone in place in the interim. We're talking about 6 weeks. My organization is dedicated to getting citizens a voice and supporting small municipal candidates that often don't have a lot of support. Having someone put in place just so you can have your meetings and they check the box of a vote. If you have a tie, have the mayor do what he's supposed to do and break your tie. There's no reason with the circumstances as they are, this office and all the communications and everything that comes out of a district run right now should be treated as a crime scene and investigated. And you don't need anyone there in the interim that either could complicate things or seriously could actually even be blamed for many things that are not of their control because they've been going on for many years. So that, Barbara Casanova, and we just would like to respectfully ask that you do not put anyone as an interim in District 1.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hey, good afternoon, Commissioners. So my name is Michael Suarez. My address is 5201 Northwest 7th Street. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Miami and have lived in District 1 for the last 17 years. I have served on the City of Miami Code Enforcement Board and was a candidate for District 1 in 2007, obtaining over 40% of the vote. I hold a doctorate degree from St. Thomas University, and I'm currently a college professor and host a television show. I'm here to say that I agree that the election should be held November 7th. This makes financial sense, and it's in alignment with the spirit of the city charter. However, I would like to articulate why this decision alone will be detrimental to the city of Miami. Many will have you believe that you're here today to decide one of two things, whether to have an election or to appoint someone to the seat. In reality, the best choice is to do both. I will demonstrate why this is the most responsible way to move forward. The reality is, it is highly probable that Mr. Alex Diaz-La Portilla will win re-election. This is for two factors. First, he has raised over $1 million. Second, he has strong name recognition, the two major components for winning any election. However, here's another reality. The governor will suspend him again. As a result, the city will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a special election. And so the best course of action is both holding an election November 7th and appointing an interim commissioner. You hedge all risk. That is to say, if Mr. Alex Diaz-La Portilla wins and is suspended from office, you don't need to hold a special election because you have an interim commissioner. And similarly, if one of the other candidates wins, you don't have to hold a special election because they take office. And so the logic holds true. You never risk having a special election. So here's my call to action. I ask that you consider me as the interim commissioner for District 1 and take a vote on my appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Marvin Tapia, 1901 Northwest South River Drive, candidate for commissioner for District 1. I'd like to first thank you all, especially the residents, for taking the time tonight on a Saturday evening to come address this special matter. But I would like to say that, commissioners, you have one of the easiest jobs to do today, and that is to allow the process to take its place. Let the voters decide. I want to clarify, I'm not here to be considered for the temporary position. The choice and that right belongs to the residents of District 1. That's who should vote. I want to be elected
not appointed. So I'm very much looking forward to working with you all, because I know that together we can do some great things if we're all unified and if we put the residents first. That has to be first and foremost. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Good evening.
My name is Terry Morales, 1435 Northwest 34th Avenue. I'm here with a question because when you say putting someone interim, does that mean that the people will vote, or who will be making that choice for this interim individual?
Well, if there's someone that's put in the seat interim, it would be our decision here, the
I see.
commissioners.
See, that says a lot to me, because I don't want it to just be your decision, because it's the people's decision. It is the people's decision, and I don't believe that a person should be put interim now. We really didn't have a commissioner before. That office is empty. I live very close to the golf course, and there's a sign that says Alex Diaz de la Portilla office, and I was impressed. I said, wow, he got a new office. But that office has always been empty. So it should continue to be empty until the people can vote. People can be heard, not your voices. The people's voices need to be heard. And I ask you and I urge you to allow the people to vote.
Chair, I'd like to make a statement,
Go ahead.
which is done. Ma'am, first and foremost, thank you for coming here today, taking time that you could be using it for many other things on a Saturday, and expressing your opinion, which I respect very, very much.
Thank you.
You're one of the handful of people here that I will listen to closely, because you're one of the handful that is a resident of District 1. The vast majority that are here for other campaigns or because of the hate that they have for the city, in some cases. I hear what you said, and don't misinterpret what I'm going to say now, but many years ago, when the charter was created and different times has been amended, the people did speak when they created the charter, and they implemented the rules that we are bound by, that we could appoint if we would like when there's a vacancy, or put it to a special election. So in that sense, sometime in the past, in a referendum, all of the people of Miami spoke to give whomever the commission was at the time, that there might be a vacancy, that right to appoint. But I hear what you said, and you could...
May I respond?
Certainly,
May I
ma'am.
respond?
Absolutely.
I believe that I didn't even know that there was going to be this thing tonight. It's on a Saturday. Red flags went up, because red flags rose when I'm thinking, do people even know that this is happening on a Saturday night? And it made me feel very concerned. I was literally driving to the Home Depot to buy some items that I needed, and I found out about this, and I turned, and I'm here. Last thing I expected was, because like Christy said, I don't trust you, sadly. And that's sad. I trust Manolo Reyes. I trust my previous commissioner before, Alex Diaz de la Portilla. Sadly, now I have a stadium being erected where there was beautiful green space, okay? And Alex Diaz de la Portilla was the winning vote for that. And I resent that. And I'm going to have to endure
No, he wasn't.
the airport and the stadium.
I'm sorry, he was not. It was the commissioner that you claim you trusted so much, that used to sit over there. That was the key vote.
The key
on
vote
that.
was Alex Diaz de la Portilla.
No, he was not. He wasn't here at the time. He was not here at the time. It was the commissioner you trusted.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
Wait a
much.
minute, wait a minute. Joe,
Thank you.
Madam
Good
Chair,
evening.
Madam Chair, if I
Oh,
may.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
was
not
like,
God
who's
that's
calling
speaking,
me?
it's me.
Go ahead.
And I want to correct Commissioner Carollo. The resident said that she trusted me. And you are saying that the winning vote was the commissioner that she trusted. I voted against that project
I
since day
pointed,
one.
unfortunately, you weren't here. I pointed to where Commissioner Kova was sitting at.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm
Okay,
sorry,
no.
I'm sorry. I'm
And
sorry.
you were here the time, so you're a prime witness to who was the key vote.
Okay, I'm sorry. I stand corrected, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Well, I'd rather be home with my family, but thank you for allowing me to talk, Mr. Chair. Commissioner, Mr. Manolo Reyes. My name's Andres Valina, 6850 Southwest 1st Street, Miami, Florida. I am a candidate for District 4. Unfortunately, I've been forced into being a politician because of things that I've seen all the way back from Regalado days. Francis was there, it was wonderful, but I've learned one thing, nothing rushes is ever good. I don't see the rush for this. I know that you have the power to move votes to after the election, so those are options that you have for anything that may come up. Other than the gentleman running for the District 1, whoever's going to be appointed may not be aware of the issues in the district because it's been abandoned for so long. So I don't think it'll be a good idea to rush into this. We got 43 days. We can wait 43 days. You've moved meetings before, over and over, so I think it's something that's doable. And I don't think somebody just being put in there, not being aware or equipped with what's really going on and needed, is going to make the right decisions or the right votes if there is a vote. That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good evening, early evening.
Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me speak. Miguel A. Gabello, 1701 Northwest Southwood Drive, former address, and now 1780 Northwest 21st Terrace. You guys all know me. I've been running since February in District 1, and then somebody decided to carve my house out of the district. And I've done my work, visiting people, thousands of people in the district, and I think it would be very unfair at this point, to appoint somebody. It's very easy to say, appoint me, and not know what the district is, not work for it, okay? So please don't put an interim and tell me that that's okay, because then our elections are going to be nothing, to us. We live in the United States of America, and we still believe that there's justice in this country. Don't do this to yourselves, because in the long run, you guys are going to look bad out there. I've been struggling as a candidate. I've been here before, and I'm not going to make a political speech. I'm going to respect what you guys have to say, but simply this. The election is 45 days away. What is the big deal? Let's finish. Right now, I'm jumping through hoops because of you guys and the position that you guys have put me in. And I'm still willing to fight. I'm still willing to knock on doors and still willing to be a candidate. Please let us continue. Let's finish the election for 45 days. It's around the corner. You're not going to spend any extra money. Do not put an interim. Okay, you want to put an interim, but the interim's got to say, okay, I'm going to take care of it for 45 days, but not this at the interim, and then after this, the interim is going to continue without an election. This won't be what we're used to here in the United States. So I respectfully ask that you please consider that and let the election go on for 45 days. We don't need an interim, and that's all I ask. Thank you very much.
Miguel, thank you for coming today, expressing your opinion in the way we should do it in America, respectfully, in a civilized manner.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you.
Touching upon one of the points you hit there.
No, I don't. No, and by the way, let me make it clear. I don't want to be appointed. I do not want to be appointed. I want to earn my keep. Okay, if I'm elected in November, I will be elected. But thank you. But I don't want to be appointed. Let me make that clear.
You shut people up there, please. Miguel, touching upon one of the points that you made.
I'm sorry?
Touching upon one of the points that you made. See if I could be heard better. Touching upon one of the points that you made, I would say that you're certainly one individual that has lived in this district for a long time. So I don't think there's any doubt.
More than 37 years.
Well, whatever the case is, it's a long time. So there's no doubt that you do know the district. I don't know about some others that have just popped up that we've never heard from. But you certainly have lived there for a while.
May I respond, Mr. Gomez?
Yes, absolutely.
I hope you're... What happened?
whatever you like.
May I continue?
Yes.
I'll just end it with this. What I would hope is, the city of Miami has put me in a difficult position, and I hope this is resolved.
That you said already. I heard.
Please.
I disagree with you on that, but you've been respectful, and it's your right to express your opinion.
Thank you. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening to all of you. Fabian Garcia Diaz. I'm a resident at 3121 Southwest 22nd Avenue. I feel that it's a very sad day for Miami, for the history of Miami. I was asking among the present people here how much will cost to run an election for a replacement, and I understand it's close to $250,000.
More.
Or more, right. For a short term, I think this issue can be resolved among you guys or city staff to find a replacement. And even the person who will replace this commissioner is not going to do much. It's not going to do much. And secondly, I want to leave something to consider. We all know the reasons why we don't have this commissioner on the House right now. But what happened to the staff? Did the staff never raise a voice? The staff never heard or know what was going on or the reasons of the accusations? So I'm very concerned with who works with you guys. Who's your staff? And what they do if they see irregularities. There is here in the city a marshal that monitors your activities and your staff. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Denise Galvez Turros, 2130 Southwest 20th Street, Miami, Florida, 33145. Two things have been missing from the city for way too long, and that's common sense and decency. I'm not going to throw any stones, but somebody stepped up today who happens to be both. He's a common sense person. He's a decent human being. He's a long-standing citizen and resident who's been very active in that district for many years. He has said he will not run for office, so I know he has no political agenda. I think it would be very smart to appoint Horacio Aguirre temporarily for the next 5 meetings so that city business can continue, because I have been on the receiving end of deferrals and postponements, and it's costly and it's painful, and it costs all of the citizens here money because it's wasted resources. So we're gonna have gridlock at City Hall. There's no downside because we're gonna have an election in November, and we have, I think, good candidates there. God willing, justice will prevail, and we'll have a good person in that seat very soon. But I think that we can appoint somebody. Two things can be true at the same time. We can have our voice in November, and we can have somebody appointed so that we can continue. But I don't see anybody else being mentioned better than Horacio Aguirre. So I support him for appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sarai Pacheco, and I'm a resident at 3061 Northwest 18th Street. And I've been trying to resolve a problem for my house from 2019. Went to see Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla when Carlos Fortuny was the chief of staff. It couldn't move forward because of legal issues and concern. Then I went to see all of your offices, and I tried to address the issue. For many years, I've been trying to prove that the microfilm records for City of Miami are a disaster, that they got flooded due to Hurricane Andrew, that I have proof and images of the records, that I have contacted every single prior director that you guys have for building and zoning, and I have proof of everything that I'm saying. And a lot of people have continued ignoring me. Major Suarez was going to sponsor legislation, then he decided he was going to run for president. Nick Pasquale left the office. The resolution left me hanging again. Came again, spoke with Diaz de la Portilla. He finally said, I'm going to sponsor legislation. It was going to be introduced in the 28th. So all I want you guys is, I know each of you represent one of constituent for certain district, but at this time, people from District 1 are left in the air, like me. I'm gonna have to start all over again, and thanks to Manolo Reyes, who I approached him in the 1040 program, he offered to help. So I'm asking all of you to please consider any pending resolutions or any pending jobs for D1, and even if we are not from your district, to look into what is pending, because there might be people like me for 2-3 years waiting on something to happen. And this is very unfortunately, you know, I don't really wish to be on his shoe, and everybody is not guilty until proven otherwise, but we don't need to pay those consequences. So I really wish that whatever happened, that you guys take care of us.
Thank you.
Madam Chair? Madam Chair?
Commissioner Reyes?
Yes, Ms. Pacheco.
Yes.
I spoke with you about a couple of weeks ago, and I promise you that we are looking into that legislation. That piece of legislation will not only help you, it will help residents from different areas that they are in your same predicament that you are, which is very unjust. And we are looking into it, and there's a very big probability that we will sponsor that legislation.
I know, your office has been in communication with me, and I really would like to thank you for stepping up, even before we knew that this was coming.
And for the record, you also
have
came
met,
into my
yes.
office, and we spent a good amount of time
And with
all of
Eve,
her files.
yes, and with Eve from Commissioner Carollo, I have been in touch many times. She's been also very supportive, and I do want to address that too.
That legislation will be sponsored, because
Thank you.
It not only affects District 1, it affects the whole city of Miami.
Yes, and it's a lot of residents that
there is.
we need to get a solution, because we
It
do
is
want to get
complex,
in compliance.
and I even told you that day, I even told her, I was like, one day you're gonna run for office, because the amount of work that you've done to actually make sure that she's collected every second of what's going on with her, and every pain that she's felt with her address, it's a moment that we need to consider. So
Thank
I
you.
congratulate you for that, and
Thank you.
honestly, we're here to serve you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know.
Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman. My name is Mel Meinhardt. I live at 3075 Virginia Street in Miami. Regarding the appointment of commissioners to this important body, last year, members of this audience challenged this commission to increase their confidence in the governance of the city of Miami, of which you are responsible. Several members of this commission declared clearly and repeatedly that they were looking out for the good of all citizens of Miami. In that spirit, I speak to you before. But since that time, from the media we learned that the city has failed to convince 2 federal judges on the merits of the redistricting plan. A finding of guilty in federal court has placed us in peril of satisfying a $63 million judgment. An elected official has been arrested and faces 30 years in jail. Professional journalists report on the investigations into the mayor and the associates of the city's attorney. Challenges to the legitimacy of Miami's governance is grave. We urge you to use your best offices to incrementally help restore the citizens' confidence in the governance of this great city. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Thank you.
Chairwoman, I can't let...
You don't have to attend
No,
every
no.
party
No,
you're invited
on
to.
this one I do, because this is some major disinformation, and if we allowed it to go on, and we never answered, whether it's from the media or for independent individuals that have their own agenda, then it'll get repeated and repeated, and others might believe it. The gentleman made reference to the vote on redistricting, that this commission took 4-1. He tried to give the impression, false impression, that the federal courts were all against it, when in fact, you had a magistrate that gave an opinion, and the judge that handled the case with the magistrate ruled against the city. What he left out was that the appellate court, by a majority, ruled with the city on the election to go forward. And what he also left out was that the opinion of the appellate court was challenged to the Supreme Court, and in one of the rare cases that I've seen, the Supreme Court not only took up the case to hear it, but all 9 judges in Mount Olympus, what we call the U.S. Supreme Court, all 9 voted with the appellate court, with the city of Miami, that the elections would go forward. And in fact, those were the orders that the Supreme Court of the United States ruled on, that the order of the appellate court would stand. Some point in the future, we'll have another hearing on the subject of the districts. And I would assume that if either side doesn't agree with the district court, they will be able to appeal. On the other subject that he talked about, on the famous $63.5 million, well, I'm limited for the meantime, maybe for another 2 or 3 months, in truly speaking on that, until the appeal goes forward. The city of Miami is not responsible for 1 penny of that, not 1 penny of paying for that. And as sure as I am sitting here, that will be overturned once it goes to the appellate court, just like the redistricting election was, and the ruling that the district judge made. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. How are you today?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Mercedes Rodriguez, and I'm a candidate for District 1. When I made this decision, it wasn't lightly. It was a decision to serve as an interim. But in the past, this commission has been a decision that if you serve as interim, you're not allowed, if you serve to be a candidate, you're not allowed to be an interim, and vice versa. And so I decided to put my name for both considerations. I'm perfectly fine if the commission decides not to name an interim, because I believe, different from my opponents and the staff that works here in the city of Miami, because I come from a government background. I started here in the city. I was appointed to the Youth Advisory Board. When someone at an early age has no clue what it means to be a public servant. I worked for the City Parks Department. I worked in the state. In the last 3 decades, I've been working in government from Miami-Dade County. But I also participate with the city of Miami because they're my extended family. I have volunteered my time with Bayfront Park, with PZAP. One of the things I'm very proud that I did at PZAP was extend the length of the balconies. Because many families during COVID were secluded to a small space. and their children and their pets. Having said that, yes, I'm interested in being considered interim. I've also participated with the Miami River Commission. And so, as an interim, I was born and raised.
Your time is up.
Oh, sorry.
Wrap it up.
I was born and raised in District 1, and I believe one thing we need to consider, there's a budget hearing next week. We're in the middle of the hurricane season. We have a community meeting on September 26th to deal with what is known as the EAR. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
Thank you for your passion. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, commissioners. My name is Maria Magdalena Tupiñan, and I live in 21 Madeira Avenue, Coral Gables. And I would like to make a comment here because it worries me that when a commission tries to fill a seat in such a short, I mean, it's just 2 months. How is it going to affect everyone? Usually, when they do that, it's because they are planning to kind of get through with that vote things that they couldn't have gotten with the other commissioner. So how does that affect me? It affects the city here, Miami, and every other city. Why? Because the city of Miami, I don't know if you know about this, belongs to C40. C40 is an arm of the United Nations, and right now, their mayors are trying to implement no meat, no cars by 2030, okay? So I just wanted to know the public what is happening. Also, there is something else going on that should affect you and everybody else. The city has taken a loan by 1 billion point something for the water, I don't know, water, whatever. And it's, they haven't done a test on our drinking water. And I've been asking the city many times, are they getting rid of the fluoride? Fluoride has been banned in 98 countries across the world. What are we doing about that? So it's you're responsible to kind of learn what is going on around you, what is C40 implies. Also, I requested a climate change debate. Miami did not answer me. Miami-Dade declined.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you.
I think that we should have it, and lawsuits are coming.
Thank you.
And let me close with this. We are all accountable in front of God. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Michael Castro, 3443 Margaret Street. I think voters from neighboring districts should have some kind of insight on what candidates have to say about something like this. And I think the answer is quite obvious. A special election would be too costly, and some type of special appointment would also be a little too controversial right now. I think the obvious answer is keep the seat vacant for 45 days, and it won't be that detrimental. And that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you.
Good evening, Brenda Betancourt, 1436 South 6th Street. I don't live in that district, I live in District 3, but my father lives in that district. And I'm concerned about him and the people who live in the same neighborhood. A very simple reason. We all expect the offices from the commissioners to be open to the public. We all expect that our taxes are for you guys to serve the public. And I've been trying to reach the office of the commissioner for a while, going and knocking the door for a while. So whatever decision the four of you are going to make, you need to understand that that decision affects a lot of people. It's not about who do you want to be in the future or not, it's 8 weeks. Would that really necessary for the four of you to need that fifth vote? It would be the question for you guys. And the reason is 8 weeks is not going to affect that many people if it doesn't have a commissioner or representative, because for several years, they don't have a representative. So I just want you guys to try to understand why we are concerned. Sometimes your decisions, it might not seem much, but think how many millions of people that you guys represent. So please keep that in mind. Do you really need to appoint somebody in 8 weeks? Can the city of Miami is going to go shut down because it doesn't have an extra commissioner? I don't have nothing against appoint somebody for 8 weeks, but I just need to make sure that you understand the position of all those who own homes in that district and hasn't have a callback for any concern that they have. So please, just keep really in mind all those people that live there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Eddie Leal, 1420 Braco Bay Drive. I do not live in the district, but I am been a long-standing member of the City of Miami family and a resident of District 2. And I wanted to say a few words.
You did work for the mayor, correct?
I did.
You worked for the mayor.
And I
Yes.
work with you guys.
Yes, you did. Okay, thank you.
I did. That's why I said the City of Miami family. And with you, I think I shared the floor and numerous proclamations that we shared.
Yes, we did.
And I heard the word hate, that people came here because of hate. I certainly didn't come here because of that. I came here because my family left part of a country that we never had free elections. So I think that people have a lot of passion. It's not because of hate, it's just because we really care about the city of Miami. So I wanted to kind of clean that issue. That was, the word was a little bit harsh for some of the sentiment that I think was flared up. That was one item, the item. I think some of you have a clear record of moving forward with an actual election. I want to thank again Commissioner Reyes. I know he's in cyber world, but I know that I participated in the last election because he was one of the critical votes to allow for an election, and Commissioner Sabina Como ended up being our commissioner, and there's now another one in November. So I know that you have a record of supporting an election. I think I've thought about it. Many people have asked me what you should do, and I offer my 2 cents to help facilitate a discussion. I agree. This should be a very simple decision. You should have an election that coincides with a November election. What you really have before you is a second budget reading and 2 meetings in October. It's a very narrow window, and all the items that do affect the planning and zoning or things that have a longevity should be deferred after the election. Because although I agree that you do have a legal authority to appoint,
Thank you.
I ask that you please have an election in November.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this topic, the issue of the D1 vacancy? Anyone else that would like to be heard? Seeing none, public comment period is now closed. Mr. Vice Chair, would you like to say something?
I think I might.
Go right ahead.
I'm trying to be politically correct in the short statement that I might make. But, if I respect everybody that's taking time to come here today. And while I might agree with some opinions, disagree with others, I certainly agree with people's right to express their opinion, whatever they might be. But I have a problem with this hypocrisy. And when someone kind of comes to try to scold publicly so that he could get Billy, whoever his name is, that he pays to attack especially other opponents. They come up here to scold. They should let Billy know that he should get the video of whom he was visiting on Friday and asking for their support. If they are so bad, why are they asking for their support? Of course, the support was quietly to get all the votes and people that I know in district here to vote for them. So if you want to come publicly and show one face, show the other face to the public too. Because this guy here is not a punching bag. No one's going to shut me up. I'm going to speak my mind in what I believe, right, wrong, or in between. I got elected with 65% of the vote. 4 opponents. The Herald can't get over that I took a few minutes of my time to ask them not to support me. I didn't want their endorsement. So it's a constant attack at me because of that. So I think for now that's what I would say, Chair.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be calling me to bother me anymore.
Okay. At this time, I'd like the city attorney to weigh in on a question I have. If we do not appoint someone today, will the election in November serve as the special election? Because we are required to either appoint or have a special election, correct?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. Basically, your role here today pursuant to the charter is that you either appoint for the remainder of the 50-some-odd days or call for a special election. Unfortunately, the special election is basically a legal impossibility because you have different qualifyings in the general election. There won't be a term left because you already have a general election coming up. So basically what would happen is that the general election, for all intents and purposes, takes the place of your calling for a special election, and that's what would occur. So
And qualifying was until today at 6 p.m.
Correct. So it would either be, filling the seat for the 50-some-odd days, or letting the general election take the place of that special election, and it would resolve the issue.
So I'm going to kick off the discussion by saying again what I've always said, that I believe that it is the citizens' right to elect their representative. That is my position, that has been my position, and it will remain my position. It was my position in the District 2 seat. We had a special election, and they elected the candidate of their choice, and I stand with that. It is not my place to determine what is best for the citizens of District 1, and I stand with having the general election serve as the special election. Commissioner Covo.
So I came here in February. I was sitting right there where I sat when I was a reporter. And I came here because I wanted to be appointed. Because I saw that my district had no representation, not for days, for months. And I was frustrated, and that was the reason why I ran for office. When I came here and I heard all the public comments, and it's on record, no one told me, I had no consultant, no one told me, Sabina, you're gonna have to come up and speak. Madam Chair said, oh, we're gonna hear from the people who want to get appointed. Of course, Cobo was first, right? See. My legs started shaking. I stood right there. I've known Commissioner Carollo for a long time because I was a reporter, so I used to interview him many times. Commissioner Reyes as well. Commissioner Christine King was not in my time because I was covering federal election, the same with former Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla. I stood up there and I said, okay, I came here with my resume as a political news reporter, fighting corruption, trying to get through City Hall, trying to make my family better because it's a Saturday night and I have 3 children. I would have preferred to be at home tonight, right? Because that's what we're all about, family, happiness, integrity. But no, we have to be here tonight, right? I was there and I said, you know what? At the end of the day, it is what you guys want. It's not what I want, because I don't have any ego. Because right now, what we need to do is what is best for our city. And I just want to say that if I was selected on a special election, almost by 10 points over 13 candidates, there's no way that I'm going to appoint anyone tonight, Madam Chair and Commissioner Carollo and Commissioner Reyes, because it's just my principle.
Okay, now,
Vice
are
Chair.
you done, Commissioner?
Vice Chair.
Thank you. Now, let me address the issue for tonight. Special election goes for approximately 300,000 or so. That's one election. If you have a run-up, you go for another 300,000 or so. At times when we have considered special elections, that's one of the things that I've taken into consideration, how much money we're going to spend and how much of a time period there's between the next election, where the temporary appointment then would have to go to an election. It would have to be a long time in between. In this case, you're looking at about 6 weeks between the November general election. If someone could win with a majority of the vote, but if someone doesn't, 2 weeks later you go to a run-up. So you're only talking about 8 weeks at most. I don't think that it's in our best interest to appoint someone right now. I think that with 4 members up here, we could certainly act cordially with each other, civilized, and try to come to consensus in as many of the key issues that we have for all of our city, not just individual districts. And we have the election, November 7th, that will decide. That could be our special election, where, I mean, think about this. If we put this out to a special election, a regular special election, you have the general election November 7th. Then 2 days later, you're going to have a special election. I mean, that's doesn't make sense whatsoever. You're going to elect someone to finish maybe a term that had expired already. So why did you have a special election for if they're not going to be able to serve? And then if on November 7th, you don't get any candidate that gets 50 plus 1, and you have to have a run-up 2 weeks later, the person that gets elected November 9th ain't going to get appointed the next day. It's going to take several days for them to be appointed, because you have to go through the process of confirming the votes, et cetera, and you might get them to be appointed or to only serve 5 days. So to have a general election where either the term expired already and they can't serve, or at most they're going to serve for 5 days, it doesn't make sense at all whatsoever. And then on top of that, for all that, it's going to cost you $300,000 or more. So I'm in full agreement with both of my colleagues up here that this goes to a vote November 7th. There's no one that we could appoint today, no matter how qualified they are, how much of a background they have that can jump into this and be taking some key votes that are coming up with knowledge. They're going to have to follow what the administration says, and they're going to have to follow what their colleagues vote on. And yes, they're going to have to trust the administration and their colleagues, because we got budget hearing coming up on Thursday, final. There's nobody out there. You could bring the smartest person in the world here and appoint him, and there's no way that in a handful of days, 2-3 days, they can go through our budget of $1 billion+ and figure out what's what should be in, what should be out, what should they vote for or not. And that's just one key point that I'm pointing out. So I think the best interest for District 1 and all of the city of Miami is that we do not make an appointment, and that our special election, as we see it, will actually be on the 7th. But you work out the legalities of how we have to do it, Madam City Attorney, so that whoever are the people that are running on the 7th, and whoever wins, or if it goes to a runoff, will be the representative for District 1.
Right, the general election, remember, this term ends,
Yep.
and it is a brand-new term.
Right.
So that election will take the place of the special election.
Right.
Commissioner Reyes?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Madam Chair?
Yes, I hear you.
We hear
Oh,
you.
you hear me? I know that there is not a consensus to appoint anybody, and it shouldn't be. Let the people decide. And I have heard concern of some arguments about.
Commissioner, can you speak louder, if you could?
I have
Thank you.
heard concerns about people in from District 1 that now we are going to be discussing the budget and who is there to defend the budget. I want to inform them that the budget has been prepared. There is no way that we are going to, the 4 remaining commissioners, we're going to take funds from District 1 and divide it among us. Everyone is going to be, every single district, it's going to have the funds necessary for the projects. And I do agree with Commissioner Carollo that if we now go into a special election, the cost of the special election does not warrant what we I think it is out of the question because of the cost of it. And if we take into account, and I'm reading from a memo from the city attorney, taking into account the 10-day appointment period for a special election, the 5-day qualifying period, and the 38, which can be only on weekdays, the 38-day minimum period to have a special election, the earliest date of a special election will be on November 9th. That is 2 days after the regular election took place. So I believe that we should just vote on the recommendation that the November election will take place. We will go to the November election, and that will suffice for any special election, and whoever wins there is going to be the person that is going to be representing District 1.
Is that a motion?
Motion.
Yes. Yes.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. This shall conclude the special commission meeting to address the D1 vacancy. Thank you all for coming.
Madam Chair, as a point of personal privilege, we have a birthday tonight.
We do.
We do.
Yeah.
It
Our
is
city
Todd's
clerk
birthday.
It's his birthday. Everyone join me in celebrating our city clerk, Todd Hannon's birthday. Happy birthday, Todd!
Happy birthday, Todd.
Can we embarrass him a little further and sing happy birthday for him?
Yes.
Just a little more?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Todd. Happy birthday to you. You get along.
Birthday to you.